Do you ever crave something sweet while at home but do not want to spend hours in the kitchen or completely derail your healthy eating goals? If that's a yes, you are in the right place today. My name is Kelsey Rose. Welcome back to my channel, and I am kind of known for viral, healthy, quick and easy, minimal ingredient recipes, and I am going to share 3 of my favorite with all of you today. They literally take all under 10 minutes to prep and to put together. They are so easy, anyone can do them, and they are perfect with the holiday season coming up. You can bring them to a gathering, you can have them ready if you're hosting friends, or you can just have them on hand in the freezer, in the fridge, for when you are craving something a little sweet, but still want to keep it healthy and using ingredients that are whole food sourced, clean, and will still make you feel good. As a health and wellness professional for over the last 10 years, my mission really is to make healthy living as easy and as simple as possible for all of you. I am constantly creating recipes, workouts, tips for all of you that help you make nourishing choices easy without the stress and overwhelm. Eating shouldn't be stressful, moving your body should not be stressful, and I am here week after week to simplify your wellness journey. So without any further ado, let's jump into our very first recipe. The first recipe that we are making today is one of my favorites. I only discovered this one a few months ago. We are making 3 ingredient brownies with literally just bananas, peanut butter, and cacao. What I love about a lot of my recipes is that you probably already have the ingredients at home, which is a really big plus. I have friends that ask me sometimes, like, what are the staples that you would recommend having stocked in your pantry at all time? I would say bananas, time and time again, or every single week on my grocery list. Cacao powder is always great to have. Peanut butter is always great to have. Almond flour, chocolate chips, baking powder, baking soda. Just a few different ingredients to keep in mind and have on hand at all times so that when a sweet craving does come on, you can just go into the pantry and grab something. So first things first, you want to take 2 ripe, you need to make sure that they are ripe, bananas. We're going to take a mixing bowl and mash them. You also want to make sure you are presetting your oven at 350 so that when you are done mixing all of the ingredients together, which honestly does not take very long, the oven is ready for you to throw it on in and bake. Next, we're going to add in 1/3 of a cup of cacao powder. It really should only be 1 ingredient, and that 1 ingredient should be cacao powder. So definitely make sure you are looking out for that. Adding that in. And lastly, we are adding in the peanut butter. Honestly, when I first saw this recipe, I was a little bit skeptical because I was like, there's not even any flour. How can it be so delicious? But honestly, I think that this recipe is going to blow your mind. I believe I have over a few million views on this recipe on Instagram. I can't take credit for the original recipe. It was something that I did see viral online, and I knew that I definitely had to try it, and it did not disappoint. I'm actually so excited for you to try this. So we really want to make sure that we get a good mix of all 3 ingredients. Optional here, you can add some baking powder if you want it to rise a little bit more. But in the original recipe, the first time I made it, I did not, and it was still perfection.
A few moments later.
Ta-da! Our 3 ingredient brownie is done. I let it cool for about 20 to 30 minutes before cutting it up and enjoying. Let's take a look. It is still pretty warm, but I am going to cut into it anyways, just so I can show all of you the final product. Look at that, 0 flour, literally made with bananas, peanut butter, and cacao powder, and it is so freaking delicious. I said it before, I'm gonna say it again, these brownies are literally going to blow your mind. It doesn't even make sense how it works, but let me tell you, it works, and you are going to impress your next guest or the next dinner party that you are invited to. with these brownies. The texture is amazing, the taste is amazing. Make sure you follow the recipe exactly. Add some chocolate chips on top if you want to bump up the chocolatey situation with them, but they are perfect as is. Enjoy. Up next, we have the viral Snicker date dessert. And unless you live under a rock, I am sure that you have seen this recipe before. It is one of my go-tos. It actually used to be part of my weekly meal prep because my boyfriend was so obsessed. But then eventually we had to like tune it down with all of the desserts and snacks because I am doing recipe creation every single week and we didn't need that in addition. However, I am excited to bring it back today. The first thing that you need are dates, and what I love about these next two recipes is that they are actually both no bake. So they need to go in the fridge or freezer, but we don't need the oven, which makes it even better. So you wanna break open your dates, take out the pit, very important, we don't wanna break any teeth, and then we start placing them onto our parchment paper. Very important that we're not putting it on a plate or any other type of surface because this is going in the freezer and it's a lot easier to take it off the parchment paper. You can also make this any portion size, which is awesome. So you can make a little mini ones. Sometimes I'll even just whip up after dinner a single portion. I'll make for my boyfriend and I super quick, but I've also served this at a holiday dinner last year and I just broke up all the pieces and served them on a plate and they were a hit. So once we have laid out all of our dates, we're going to take our peanut butter. Really simple, you literally don't even need a measuring cup, which is my kind of recipe. You spread a good amount of peanut butter across the dates. I like to use crunchy because you also get the addition of the peanuts in it. If not, if I have smooth peanut butter, then I actually sometimes add nuts because I love the little extra crunch that it gives. We're spreading this across evenly, and then we are going to melt our chocolate chips. You can melt your chocolate in the microwave or you can do it over the stovetop. Honestly, I know there are a lot of haters with the microwave out there, but sometimes it is just really easy. It took 1 minute. Next, all we're going to do is pour the chocolate over the dates and peanut butter. Yum! Again, we want to make sure we are spreading it out evenly. How freaking delicious does that look? Oh my goodness. You may be wondering why this is called the viral Snicker recipe, like how is this a Snicker? But trust me, the dates really do act as that caramel texture and flavor. I also made a candy apple date recipe last week, and instead of the caramel, obviously in a candy apple, you use dates, and the comparison is amazing. So this is the same idea here. You're gonna see once it's finished that it really truly does taste like a Snicker with the caramel, dates, and the peanut butter and the chocolate and the nuts. Also, the nuts are very important. So delicious. So everything is mixed in together here. Like I mentioned, it's no bake. We are putting it in the freezer and it'll be ready to enjoy in about 30 minutes to 1 hour. Okay. It is ready, the Snicker bar, so delicious. All we have to do now is optional, add some sea salt. It's actually better to add this before you put it in the freezer, but I forgot. We all make mistakes sometimes, but that is okay. It is going to still stick to the chocolate once we put it back in the freezer after we cut it up. And then similar to the brownies, you're just cutting it up in squares, rectangle, however you do want to serve it. This looks delicious. My boyfriend does not know that I am making this today, so once he gets home from work, he's going to be very excited. And there you have it, the viral Snicker date bar. So delicious, let's enjoy. I am so ready for a piece of this. It is really, really good. And as you saw, I probably have chocolate all over my face, all over my hands. I got chocolate everywhere. It is so delicious. It is a guilt-free snack along with the rest of them. And it's something that it's so easy. You can whip up, single serving, bigger portion, keep in the freezer, have on hand at all time, and I know that you're really going to love it. Also, the sea salt really sends it, so make sure you add that in. My final recipe that I'm going to share with all of you today that is simple, easy, minimal ingredients, and viral is the cookies and cream chocolate bar. This also blew my mind the first time that I made it. It literally tastes like a cookies and cream Hershey's, yes, chocolate bar. And there are only 5 ingredients. It literally takes 2 minutes to whip up, which again, if you're hosting for the holidays, if you're going somewhere, you wanna bring a healthy little sweet treat for everyone to enjoy after dinner, this is the perfect option. Or again, something great that you can make in bulk and just have on hand at all times when you are craving something a little sweet. So the base of this recipe is actually made with almond flour. We are going to take half a cup of almond flour. Make sure you have a mixing bowl. And again, I'm making smaller portions today, so if you wanna make bigger portions, you can double up the recipe, but this made a good amount the first time. Half of a cup of almond flour. And I use almond flour in a lot of my baking because it is gluten-free. The flour is made with literally just almonds, which means it is higher in protein. It has a good amount of healthy fats in it. We have some fiber. Almonds are also rich in vitamin E. So it is a much more nutrient-dense option compared to regular flour. So most of my baking is actually done with almond flour versus regular flour. And it's also low carb, so we do love that. Next up, we are going to add 2 heaping scoops of vanilla protein. I, of course, am using Truvani. You guys see me use Truvani all of the time. It is one of my favorites. Go-to vegan. These are the ingredients. It is whole food sourced and it is low in sugar, only 2 grams of sugar for 1 scoop. The consistency of the protein powder also contributes to the base of the chocolate bar. We got that here. I'm gonna get a little bit more to get those 2 good scoops up in there. So once we have our almond flour and protein powder added, we're going to give it a good mix together. You always want to make sure you're mixing your dry and your wet ingredients before combining them together. Next up, we're going to do 1/4 of a cup of coconut oil. Coconut oil helps bind it all together along with the maple syrup. Coconut oil, of course, also has so many good health benefits for all of us. You do want to make sure you are finding an unrefined, cold-pressed version of coconut oil. Again, the only ingredients should be the oil itself. Let's go ahead and add in the maple syrup. The original recipe actually calls for 1/4. The first time I made it, I felt like it was a little bit sweet, especially because we already have the sweetness from the protein powder. So I've just kind of eyeballed since I made it, and all we're going to do before adding in the chocolate chips is mix it. That is literally it. And if you find that it is still super crumbly once you give it a good mix, either add more coconut oil or maple syrup. Lastly, we're going to mix in our mini chocolate chips, and you do want to make sure that they are mini because it just really adds to that cookies and cream effect. You can do about 1/4 cup or just add to your liking. We're going to give it one final mix now with the chocolate chips. Yum, I cannot wait to try a piece. Our final step here is adding the mixture to a lined tray. And then all we're going to do is take a spoon and really mix and pat the mixture down. You can use a spoon. Honestly, I like to get in there with my hands. I find that it's easier. You spread it evenly. And what I love about this recipe in particular is that it is high protein because of the protein. Whenever I can sneak protein into a recipe, I do it. Even with the brownies, I made a version for fall that had protein powder and pumpkin instead of the cacao and the bananas. So let's just always find ways to up our protein and get it in our recipes. So this is looking pretty good. Let me show you. It is all compact down. And what we're going to do, just so we harden it a little bit more, is place it in the fridge, not the freezer, the fridge for half an hour. Take it back out, chop it up, and there you have it. The most delicious Hershey's cookie and cream chocolate bar. Okay, so now that we have let it set in the fridge or the freezer, we are going to take it out. It's a lot more firm now and a lot less brittle, which is ideal. And we are doing the exact same thing here. We are chopping it up into squares. This is what makes all of these recipes so great for sharing, because when we cut it up, we have a bunch of pieces and we are ready to serve. Does it not literally look the exact same as a cookie and creams bar, but it has way more protein, way less sugar, and it tastes so freaking delicious. All right, let's do our final taste test. These are also insane. Cookies and cream chocolate bar made out of almond flour and protein powder. Who would have thought? So simple, so easy. I think you could even trick your kids with this one, and I am so excited for all of you to try it. So there you have it, 3 super simple, easy, and delicious dessert recipes that are foolproof. Anyone can make them, you can make them, even if you think that you're not good at baking or cooking. Stop telling yourself that. Literally anyone can make any of these. You saw how simple it was for yourself. And again, they are perfect to bring as a dessert during the holidays or if you are hosting, and also really great to have in the freezer, in the fridge as a healthy sweet treat when that little craving kicks. They are all whole food sourced and they will make you feel good. They will not make you feel guilty for indulging. Food should never make you feel guilty. And I absolutely cannot wait for all of you to try these. Let me know in the comments below which one you are going to make first, and make sure you check out my latest YouTube video here.